Hi, everybody. My name is Leah Yen, and I am a student at Christian Theological Seminary in Indianapolis, although I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I've been in the area for about a year, though, so it's starting to feel like home. Um, I am an MDiv student, about to be an approved candidate for ordination. My ultimate goal is to be a hospital chaplain. Particularly, I want to work with individuals with Alzheimer's, dementia, so geriatric mental health patients is my dream, um, which I could do either as an ordained deacon or an ordained elder. So I'm not sure which I want to go for yet. I'm currently in supervised ministry at a local church, so I suppose once I see how that goes, that will determine or help determine which I do. And and I'm in the Indiana Annual Conference. We just have the one. So I'm really digging this book on John Wesley. I did not grow up Methodist. I grew up in a fundamentalist charismatic church, actually. And I came around to Methodism in college. I was the worship leader for the chapel services at Allegheny College all 4 years that I attended. And the campus chaplain was a United Methodist minister. Jane Ellen Nichol, actually, one of the optional books for the book review is written by her, and I got to read it before it was published, so, you know. But she is the one that encouraged me to go to seminary. She's one of the first people to recognize a call to ministry in me. The denomination I was raised in does not believe that women should be in ministry at all, really, except to children or other women. So she was the first person to see in me the gifts that I had always seen in myself but never felt comfortable expressing. So she really influenced me, and I decided to look as much as I could into United Methodism and how it did things and what it believed, and I know that I'm home here. But I still have a lot of learning to do. I don't know very much about John Wesley, and what I do know comes from, forgive me, older church ladies who probably only read what he wrote about himself, which is all good things. So they have a very skewed, almost angelic view of who John Wesley was. So reading this really humanized him for me. It was a lot of fun to see that he could be kind of a jerk, kind of self-important, very much a perfectionist, which I identify with. Just an interesting character. And particularly because of my experience in hospital chaplaincy, because that's what I'm moving towards. I tend to view things through that lens. So, parts in the book where he's trying to counsel people who have been bereaved, and he tells them that they should be grateful because now they have time because their kid's dead, or that he wishes he had one last chance to tell his mother off before she died. Those sorts of things. Let's just say John Wesley would be an awful, awful, awful hospital chaplain. But, on the other hand, he has amazing conflict resolution skills. The way that he could talk down mobs and turn people who are passionately against him to be passionately on his side is admirable. Yeah, interesting guy. Would love to grab coffee with him sometime and really know who he was. I think he, at least as presented in this book, is a revisionist historian. So, in terms of himself and things involving his movement, so really trying to figure out who he actually was would be a fun project that I'm not sure would be entirely possible, but Christians are called to gaze into the mysteries of life, wouldn't you say? So, I guess in terms of learning goals, I have just about everything to learn. In particular, I like to look at the big picture of things and kind of the bird's eye, broad scale map of how things were and how we got to where we are. You know, I don't tend to believe that changes happen all at once, and I guess in that way I am more like John Wesley than like the Moravians. But I think things happen gradually over time, and that when you really look at it, the changes that people make and who people become makes sense when you really try to see things through other people's eyes. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I really love people's stories, and I love the stories of communities and how one person's story is like a drop of water in a pond that leads to another person's story, that leads to another person's story. And figuring out where I fit in a story that started with the Protestant Reformation and has brought me up to 2016 at CTS as a person trying to figure out what it even means to be United Methodist. So that's a little bit about myself. And, I suppose I should mention my family. I've been married for a little over a year. My husband's name is Matt, and he's wonderful. He's extraordinarily supportive. He's the reason that I can be a student, because he's sacrificing pursuing his career right now so he can work and support me. He's a living saint, and I'm very lucky to have him. And I have a beautiful baby hedgehog named Bundles. And I'm loving life. It's a good time. It's a good time to be alive. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope this turned out okay. I'm bad at things that involve cameras in general. But I'll be getting to know you more as the semester progresses. Thanks. Later.